Hi everyone. Today we are going to learn how to draw the graphs of functions using their given domain and range. Okay, let's try this first example together. So this says sketch the graph with the following domain and range. So I can see that the domain, which is the x values that are part of my function, is from -2 to 3, not including -2. So remember, parentheses means not included in the graph, and including 3. So a bracket means that the point is included. So to show this part, I'm going to find the region where my graph might occur. So I know that it's going to stop at -2. So here's x equals -2. So through that point, I'm going to draw a dotted line because that value is not included. And everything to the left of that, I'm going to shade out to show that I'm not going to use this part of the graph. And then I'm going to go all the way up to x equals 3, which is right there. And I'm going to draw a solid line through it because it is included. And then I'm going to shade out everything after that because we won't use this region. So my x values will fall from -2 to 3, so somewhere in this range. Now let's do the same for our range, for our y values. So it's from 0 and not including 0. So I'm going to do a dotted line at 0, at y equals 0, which is here. And that's our lower bound, so everything below it is out. So we're not going to use this region. And then it goes up to 4 and including 4 because it's a bracket. So I'm going to do a solid line at y equals 4. Everything above that is out. So you can see that this resulting area is where my graph will be. So now the next thing I need to do is decide what my graph looks like. So I see that I have 4 corners of my little rectangular region. So I need to look in the 4 corners and look for parts that have matching types of lines. So for example, here I see that it's a dotted and a solid, so I know it's not going to be in this corner. But if I go down to this corner, I have 2 dotted lines. So where you see that, where they match, you're going to either draw an open or a closed circle. I'm choosing an open circle because this point is not included, shown by the dotted lines. Now I'm going to check this corner. Well, this corner doesn't match, it's dotted and solid. But if I look at this corner, it does match, they're both solid. So in that corner, I can put a nice solid dot. And then my graph is anything in between. So you can draw a straight line, you can draw a curvy line, just as long as it connects from here to here. Okay, let's try one more together. So here we're going to sketch the graph with a new domain and range. So let's start with our domain. Here we have a lower bound of -3, which is here. And I see a bracket, so I'm going to do a solid line. And I'm going to shade out everything to the left of that. And then I have an upper bound of 1, where I'm going to do a dotted line because it's not included. And everything to the right of that is going to be shaded, so we don't use this region. Okay, so the lower bound of my range is -2, and that is right here, but it's not included, so I do a dotted line. And then the upper bound is 5, and it is included because of the bracket, so I do a solid line. So I'm going to shade out the parts that we're not going to use, so it's everything below here and everything above here. Okay, so now I'm going to look for corners that match. So see here that I have a solid and a dotted, so that doesn't work. But here I see that I have double solids, so I'm going to do a solid circle there. These don't match, but down here I have double dotted, so I can do an open circle here. And then all I need to do is connect my dots. So if I do a straight line, then this is actually a linear function. But of course, it doesn't have to be straight because it doesn't say that it needs to be linear. So any time or any way that it connects this solid dot to this open dot will work. All right, why don't you go ahead and try this last example on your own. It has a domain between -1 and 4 and a range between -4 and 2. So go ahead and pause the video and give it a try, and we'll check our answers in just a few seconds. Okay, let's go ahead and check our answers here. So our domain goes from -1, dotted line, to 4 with a solid line. And then my range goes from -4 with a solid line to 2 with a dotted line. So I see this corner matches, so I do an open circle. This corner matches, so I do a closed circle, and then I connect the 2 dots, and there's my graph. All right, that is all for today's lesson. Thank you for watching.